Welcome to the check-in.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Welcome, everybody. We have a phenomenal episode.
Yes.
Like, y'all are just
Very special guest.
a very special guest.
Me cheesing in the corner.
Stop. We have the queen of the underground in the building, Kotic Couture. Chaotic, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Those jazz fingers were my applause.
Oh, there we go.
In my head, I was like, "That's my applause."
Jazz
I'm doing good.
That's
I'm good that I'm here.
Oh my goodness. We're happy that you're here too. So the way we like to start off the show is we just kind of check in with each other, see how we're doing. So you're doing good. Twin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited to eat chicken when I get home.
Okay.
Got some chicken in a crock pot.
Crock-pot chicken.
Oh, crock
That's the
pot.
vibes. That's the vibes. Okay.
But I'm feeling great. How you feeling?
I'm feeling
Okay, to be honest.
so as y'all have heard, life has been lifing me real hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hella
so
hard.
hella hard. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be doing this interview. I'm actually in a very good mood today because of you. So honestly, I'm doing really well. Better than I have been in the past couple of weeks.
That's good to hear.
It's gonna be a good episode.
Life has been like, if it makes you feel any better, life been lifing for me too. Somebody stole my wig. I'm gonna just put it real. Somebody at Amazon stole my wig because they said it like came in the same box as the other stuff and it didn't come. And then I was like, all right, can y'all replace that? And then they were like, yeah. And then they just didn't. And then I bought another one and then they sent it through the mail because I ordered Amazon for y'all to send it USPS. So I mean, life been lifing for me too. So I'm with you. I just want to tell you that. So it's like,
My God.
I'm here with you.
I once
Bald head. They literally snatched my wig.
They snatched your wig.
literally snatched my wig.
I once had a plunger stolen from me, if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Was it at a party? Like, trying to figure out how someone got out of your house.
We don't let people in the house.
No, so what had happened was the kitchen sink was clogged. And I was like, I ain't paying for shit else with this house. Like, I can't.
Understand.
And so I looked online. They were like, oh, plunger. So I was like, all right, let me buy a plunger. Fresh plunger. So y'all listening, we ain't being dirty out here.
Yeah.
And just plunge it.
Okay.
I DoorDashed it because I was like, I didn't want to leave the house. It went to the wrong house. She went to go get it. And then people
It was
took
stolen. It was not
the
there.
plunger.
And we got the picture and everything.
Yeah.
It was on the porch at the house, like across, like on the next neighborhood, like beside us. And I went to the door and it was gone. So then people really like opened their door,
Saw a plunger.
had the audacity to just steal somebody else's DoorDash package.
Are we allowed to cuss?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
They looked and just said, shit. Just take this
Mine.
plunger, literally.
We could use it.
I would
My
never.
sink is clogged.
If I saw a mysterious plunger on my porch, I'm not touching it. I would never.
That's valid. I mean, I feel like that goes with like, when you're at the airport and they like, if you see a strange package,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be perplexed for a little bit
Yes.
if I open the door and I see a plunger.
I'm just be like, this is not.
And I listen to a lot of true crime, so I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be
Our best friend
convinced
now.
that there are drugs in like the handle of
yeah.
a plunger.
Yeah.
So like, no.
It's just a bunch of cocaine
Yeah,
just
exactly.
dropped off at my doorstep. No, the
I would've left it
FBI,
right where it was.
FBI ain't gonna catch me today.
Nah,
I said, finally, I've been waiting for this plunger. And they took my shit.
I've been praying for a come up and a plunger
Here
appeared
it
on my
is.
door.
Amen.
You know what? Well, did the sink get unclogged?
We did go get. I actually had to leave, I think, to go get a plunger, but it didn't work.
Okay.
It worked like immediately. I was like, thank God.
That's
Yeah.
cheaper.
Yeah.
That's cheaper.
We went to the dollar store. We was just like, fuck it. We've lost enough money today.
I keep a wire hanger in my closet just in case I ever need to snake a drain because I'm like, I'm not gonna go buy, like, I'm from the country. I'm not gonna go buy no drain snake. Like, I'm gonna use a wire hanger. But now I ain't got no wire hangers because I didn't use them.
Hey yo. Hey yo. That's okay. All right. Well, I mean, I feel like we broke a lot of ice already.
I feel like we're warmed up.
We're pretty warmed up, but let's just like get into it, this or that, really quickly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Do you want to start it off or?
Sure. Coffee or tea?
Ooh, coffee.
Ooh, okay. All right. So let's. All right. Damn, you have one right at the top of the head. Shit. Okay, so let's go with tea or juice.
Ooh. Okay, so is that hot tea or like iced tea?
Iced tea. You said you're from the country.
I am from the country, so yeah, it's gonna be tea over juice.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Let's do write poetry or write a story.
Mm.
I know you're a writer, so I had to add
Wow.
it
I
on the
wanted to
question.
be an author as a kid, so I'm gonna say write a story.
Guess what? So she writes books.
I was reading all some of the questions from your interview with
Family first.
Yes, and I was
We do
like,
research.
we're the same person.
I
We're
love
kindred spirits,
I
and you
love
did
that.
theater. I was like, this is
Yeah.
my best friend right here.
I said that all this. We were actually just talking about this on Twitter the other day because we were talking about people performing over their backing tracks.
Mm.
And I was like, look, I'm a theater baby. Like
Mm.
our theater teacher used to make us sit at the back of the stage on our backs and she would go to the back of the light booth
Mm-hmm.
and we had to go through the play. And if there was at any point that she couldn't hear you, we had to start over.
Mm-hmm.
And like we would be doing Shakespeare. So everybody knows Shakespeare is not like short plays.
Yeah.
So you really learn to breathe from your diaphragm. So
Mhm.
somebody can hear you. So yeah, like
Mm.
that's like theater, all that. It's in my blood.
Love it.
I love it. Okay. Taking a nap or going to the spa?
Neither. I'm not I'm not like
Oh.
I'm not a big napper because like
Okay.
I like to sleep. Like once I'm asleep, I like to be asleep. And then
Mhm.
like once I wake up, it takes me too long to get myself back together.
Okay.
But also like I'm not really like a big fan of people touching me. So I don't
Okay.
really like going to the spa either.
Okay. So what's your self-care, like your go-to self-care activity?
I like to drive. So I literally would just
Hey.
be like driving with the music up and the
Yeah.
windows down.
Yeah.
That's my therapy.
Okay. Road trip. Yeah, road
Okay, so
tripping.
what's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
I'm
What's your sign?
a Sag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pisces.
Okay.
So
Eesh. Okay.
Yeah.
we're next door neighbors.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all there. Okay.
Dual
I'm here for
signs,
this.
fire signs. Okay, cool.
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense. Let's get
We
into
love
it.
fire.
Hey, fire, water. Let's go.
All right, so we definitely are not shy about talking about our mental health.
Mm.
So if you,
Yeah.
if you feel uncomfortable, you don't want to say something, you ain't gotta say nothing,
Yeah.
right? We kind of skip interviews. So if you don't like a question, you can just like skip.
Be like, oh yeah, let's not get into it. But like full disclosure, we're a little crazy, you
Move.
know,
Yeah.
very much diagnosed by clinicians. Like we live this shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lifestyle for real. I'm with you. It's a lifestyle for real.
True to this, not new to this.
No, for real.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, what era are you stepping in? Because I know you're a 90s baby as well.
Mhm.
And so us entering our 30s, our in early 30s, like what era do you feel like you're stepping into?
Ooh, I feel like I'm in my ducked out the way era.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
I'm in that era where I appreciate getting like being able to do what I love, but not having to be like out in the rat race. Like I'm
Mhm.
glad I did the rat race in my 20s.
Mhm.
And I'm to
Yep.
the point to where it's just like I can be and bookings fall into place.
Yes, man.
Because I don't really like the running and
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Ripping and running, as the old
Yeah.
folks say.
Yeah. Like I'm really just in my peace. I guess I'm in my peaceful era.
Mm.
I love
It's
that.
like, yeah, I'm just in my mellow.
Mm. Okay.
So let me ask, what era are you stepping out of?
Yeah.
Was you a little ratchet?
It's still in me. It's you see how I went off about the wig. Like it's
Yeah.
still in me. I literally just finished like Sunday reading Bell Hooks All About Love. So I feel like I'm calm right now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm like I'm balancing the ratchet with like you might get cussed out,
Yeah.
but from the heart.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm at that balance. It's
With
like
love.
like Erica Badu, like I can balance your chakras and cuss you out at the same time.
Yeah.
That's where I be.
Of
Yeah, so I'm
course.
still crazy.
No, I mean, but
Yeah.
peaceful correction is necessary sometimes.
Mine don't be peaceful, but
Okay.
it do be correction.
Direct correction.
Yeah, there we go.
We love
Okay.
it. We love to see it.
That works.
Yeah.
Direct connection.
Okay.
DC.
So we're gonna ask you some questions about your peace, because we just say you're entering your peaceful era. So
Mhm.
what do you do to protect your peace? Because we live in a crazy ass world full of crazy ass people, and
And a crazy ass industry that you're in as well.
yeah,
Everything is crazy.
Everything is insane. Yeah. Undiagnosed.
Yes, there is a lot of undiagnosed insanity walking around out here.
Yeah.
I've boundaries.
Mm.
I've really learned. I was a people pleaser when I was younger, so I didn't really have boundaries.
Mhm.
So now, yeah, I just be like ducked out the way, minding my business. No, like I read Shonda Rhimes' Year of Yes a few years ago, and like one of the biggest things I took away from that book was no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And I've really been like utilizing that this year. So I'll just be like, no,
Mhm.
like I'm good.
Yeah.
I think people get misconstrued sometimes because they see my personality and I think they really are like attracted to be around me.
Mhm.
But I don't really like a lot around me. Like my friends are my family. My friends have been around me for over 10 years.
Mhm.
Like at this point I've been in Baltimore like going on 8 years, and even the friends that I had here for the most part I met either when I first moved here,
Mhm.
or it's just like, one of those like synergy connections.
Yeah.
So I really just stay to myself. I don't, if I'm not working or if it's not like one of my friends like playing, I'm really not out in the scene like that a lot anymore.
So
I
are
just
you
be.
introverted or you just tired of like the crazy like energetic life?
I'm an introvert and extrovert. Like I like to be out and I like to be around people, but I like to be alone around people. Like if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I can go to a party, but I'll
Yeah.
go to a party by myself,
Mhm.
and I'm going to a party to hear the DJ.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to really socialize. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you? Boop. Well, back to the music.
Yeah.
So that's like very much me. So like if I do go out, I try to sit like ducked away just because I don't want to be rude to people, but I'm out so much and it requires a lot of energy for
Mhm.
interaction. So sometimes I just like to be like ducked off to support my friends and not make it like a you're here or like
Yeah.
a big exchange.
Mhm.
That's what I used to do. I loved going to the bar. I would go by myself, sit
Yeah.
at the bar, and then people just want to talk to you. Like,
Yes.
oh, whoa, whoa, hold on.
Really back.
Like I
What
know
is
you
this
saw me
thing?
walk all the way to the end of this bar, and you want to be like, "Hey, how you doing? What you drinking, sir?"
Because people
No,
sense that
literally.
energy. They're just like, "Oh, this person, they have good energy. Let me come and like suck that energy source from them a little bit." Sometimes, but it's not the vibes.
It's
So,
not. And my brother is like, my oldest brother is like super quiet. Like he's
mhm.
not very talkative. And like my sister-in-law thinks it's hilarious because she'll be like, yeah, everybody just shares their whole life story with your brother and he doesn't say anything. And I told her, I was like, I really think it's because when you're quiet, it makes people uncomfortable. So
Mm.
they feel like they have to fill the space with talking.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm just here and I'm quiet. And people
Mhm.
don't take that social
No,
cue as like
yeah.
to walk away. They think it means talk
They
more.
mean like,
So it
"Oh,
does get really interesting.
let me get that person out of their shell."
And you're like, this was quiet time. You didn't get the quiet time vibes?
You didn't see the whole populated area over there that I stepped away from?
You're like, let me find that one person in the corner. Hey, you're
No,
so quiet.
literally.
Are you shy? What are you doing?
That's me. I'll go to a party, I'll be 10 toes down in a corner, but niggas would be like, "Hey, I know you."
And then they'd be like, "Are you not like what's my biggest thing is like I'm just rocking like and people are like, "Are you not having fun?" And I feel like whatever that movie was where the guy was like, "This is my happy face." I'm like, "I'm having a great time. I'm literally just like being calm."
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Mhm.
I'm glad. Well, I'm not glad because I'm sorry that everybody has to deal with that. But like, I'm glad I'm not alone
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And I think definitely for me, when I started having mental health issues, I was like, oh, everything is effort. So I can't put no effort right here. The
Yes.
Yeah.
effort is me like doing my regular day-to-day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to hang out and then like, you were saying about your brother, when you have, a quiet disposition or just a peaceful one and people just get attracted to you and they want to latch on to you. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
have people who are like, help me with this. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to help you with anything, but I love you.
But I love
I
you.
pray for
Mhm.
you. Let's hold hands when we're
Mhm.
at lunch together, and then we're
Yes.
gonna go our
Separate
separate ways.
ways.
And then I will see you tomorrow. Don't call me. Don't text. I'll see you tomorrow.
And we'll pick up on a whole new page
Yes.
because we can leave this alone.
Yeah.
I think it's what I've come to the realization of the last couple weeks. I feel like when you do hit that like piece and people see it, they want to like interview you for like how do you, I guess the long story short is I feel like everybody wants to skip the work.
Yeah.
So when they see somebody who is peaceful, instead of like figuring out their shit and working through it, they're like, so what's the cheat code for me to get to where you are too? It's like
Dropping gems.
you really can't, there is no cheat code.
Yeah.
So I feel like people do that a lot too. It's like, okay, can you just give me the secret? And when you tell people like there is no secret, they don't believe you.
How long have you been working on getting
Yeah.
to this point?
Because I know you're a reader. You've been
Yeah,
dropping
you
some
dropping
books.
some book jazz.
But I'm like, have you had any experience with therapy? Are you, I was about to say
Therapized.
therapizing
Yes.
yourself?
Yes. I'm heavily therapized. Like most people, I ain't come from a family that like really believed in mental health. But my father passed away in 2019. So I started therapy after he had passed away. And then my grandmother passed away in 2020. And I was like in charge of my father's funeral, and I was in charge of my grandmother's funeral and like my grandmother's estate.
Wow.
So during that time, I was like, the first time with my dad, I kind of like was really just there to work through his passing. So I kind of cheated the rest of therapy. Um, and then I broke up with that therapist, and I was like, all right, when I go back into therapy, I'm not going to cheat this time. So like when I didn't cheat, I just made like a lot of advancements quick. And then my therapist left the like therapy place that I was going to. So now I'm just kind of like chilling because the therapist I had after that, we broke up real quick. But yeah,
real quick.
real quick. I think I'm kind of in that like utilizing the tools that I was given and figuring it out until I find the next person. But yeah, would you say therapized?
Therapized. You're heavily
Therapized. Yeah, I'm
therapized.
heavily therapized.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Heavily theracated.
I think that's about our experience too.
Yeah.
Like we definitely had some breakups with our therapist. I had, bless her heart, she was a very nice white lady, but she didn't understand like the culture with black folks, especially Southern black folks. I told her something. She was like, "Why don't you just talk to this adult?" And I was like, "Ma'am, talk
Talk to whom?
ma'am, I'm barely talking to you."
No, for real. Like that is a thing. Like and that I think again, going back to the era question, I'm in the unlearning era as well. Because I think we're fed so many things that like it has to be this way. So people are just like, oh, get into therapy. And it's always like a very blanket statement. But it's like therapists are like relationships, like friendships. Like these are interviews. Like you have to figure out if you're matched with that person. And I think people leave that out a lot. So even when people get into therapy, they're in a situation that isn't even working for them because you're talking to somebody who doesn't even understand what you're going through. Like, how can you give me advice about that?
Exactly.
So
It's definitely a two-way street. I realized with my therapy journey that like I was still being very, very closed off on certain things. I had no idea until we stopped our sessions. I was just like, damn, I never really talked about my childhood. But my thing is like if you don't ask me, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Right.
So she didn't poke and prod as much as I would have liked her to. But now that I'm not with her, I realized that she went at the pace that she knew I could emotionally handle.
Right.
So she was really doing some Jedi mind tricks with me, for real, for real. So I miss her, Shatina. I miss you. But you know, I had to stop because insurance and all that stuff.
Right.
But it's definitely like it doesn't work if you don't do the work, if you don't find somebody that can relate to you, and if you're not honest in therapy. Because if you're still holding back, you're not gonna get to the root of the crux of the problem at all.
Yeah.
You're just
cheating
paying
yourself.
paying to talk to somebody.
Pretty much.
Yep.
And it's an expensive talk.
It is what people don't even realize. I was talking to one of my best friends because they were telling me like, yeah, I mean like I'm talking to my therapist and I feel like she's not giving me anything. Like she's just listening. She's like, this is like our third session and I feel like she's just listening. And it was in that moment too, I just had said to her, I think there's a misconception about therapy where people think that it's like venting. So that's like when they call their friends, I'm like, you know, I just need to vent. Like, I just need therapy. But like therapy is a treatment plan.
Yeah.
So it's not even about like what you're saying. And I told her, I was like, it's not as much about what you're saying, but as far as like the patterns and the things that you do. And then she was like, okay, that makes sense. So can I just come to you?
Yeah, no.
I don't got the degree. But yeah, it is like these are things that people don't tell you about therapy. Like it is a treatment plan. Like you have to, if you with anything, like if you cheat, you're really just cheating yourself.
Yeah.
Except school. Do what you gotta do to get out of school. Like, other than that, like if you cheat, you're just cheating yourself.
For real, for real. And you know, if you're in therapy, anybody listening in therapy, you can ask your therapist for your treatment plan. So you could see the master plan. Like I printed that thing out. I was like, damn, I had to do all this shit. She was like, you have been doing all this shit. Like This is years of work that we've been doing with each other. I see improvement. You are improving. And I'm just like, "Mm, okay, thank you."
Yeah, and it's not going to happen overnight. It
No.
literally took years to get us in these situations.
Hmm.
We're not going to fix it overnight.
Exactly. That unlearning.
It's constant.
Yeah.
Which also too, I've had this realization the last couple of days. I I think this is also why I pick up so many new hobbies. I just love the work.
Hmm.
Like I'm a nerd and I just love like the
Right.
craft behind
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I started looking at therapy and life in general kind of like as a game, I'm like, okay, there's a lesson.
Hmm.
But like we're constantly figuring out the lesson.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be at the end, but if you are at the end and you know all the information, then what?
Hmm.
Like you're never going to get it figured out. You're just constantly learning how to like adapt
Hmm.
to life as it goes and
Yeah.
not fall into patterns.
Student
And
of
I think
life.
people just want to have it like figured out, and then it's like, okay, but imagine how boring it would be to have the answer to everything. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I want to wonder, am I going to have to cuss you out or am I going to have to smack you? Like, that is a good question to have sometimes. I don't need all the answers.
Exactly. Exactly. Damn.
Well, you are dropping gems, so I feel like we can cut this episode in half. We gonna have a two-parter.
And thank you.
So we already, talked a little bit about your self-care. So is there anything else in your like break glass self-care kit? Like you are having the day from hell and you're just
Mhm.
like, I need to focus on me, I need to pour into me. What do you do?
My mama gonna get me if she see this, but I'm sorry, mama. I'm gonna take me a second. I'm gonna
Mhm.
turn on like whatever my favorite vibe is at the time. So right now I'm in like an R&B kick.
Mhm.
So like if I'm going through it, I'm turning on Ari or like Alex Vaughn or
Yes.
Summer Walker.
Yes.
I'm going on a ride with the devil's lettuce and some
Love it.
coffee,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna just chill with a book. Like my favorite thing, and I said I just picked back up reading, but
Mhm.
even if it's just even if I'm just like looking through a magazine or like a zine, or if I'm
Mhm.
just like writing, I like to just be away. Like I'll go sit at the park and just be like ducked off and just
Yes.
chill. Like that's
Oh
so
my
I guess my
God.
car is my like
But park sessions are
that
therapeutic as well.
they really are. Like
Yeah.
to just be outside with the wind blowing and it's
Mhm.
like quiet and
And that smoke blowing.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's just serenity. It's just really serenity. So I love that's
Yeah,
my background.
she's a park ranger over here.
Yes,
She
I
ain't going
am.
to the park.
I am. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a good day, if I'm having a neutral day, let's go to the park.
No, literally. I think it's and I hate to sound like the old bitch, but I really think it's just like a 90s thing. Like
Mhm.
when I think about it, I was telling my best friend the other day because he was like, yeah, you really just be like outside,
Yeah.
like no purpose. You just be outside.
No
And
purpose.
I'm like, yeah, because it was cows and cornfields where I grew up.
Mhm.
There was
Mhm.
nothing.
Mhm.
So literally we would just go to our like school's playgrounds and we would sit on the playground and talk for hours.
Yeah.
We'd just be outside. So
Mhm.
I think my biggest journey has been getting back to who I was as a kid because like I
Mhm.
loved who I was as a kid and then like life jaded me.
Mhm.
So I find those little
Feel
things
that.
where it's like, okay, how can I get back to feeling like a kid? And it's just being outside. So that's like my little like fun time. It's just
You're nurturing your inner
yeah,
child.
I'm having recess.
Yes, having a good old time. I love that.
Shoot, we had to talk some more. I'm gonna call you when I'm feeling sad. Be like, can we go outside? I'm gonna get tea, you get coffee.
We be good. We
Hey,
be good.
there's some good park spots in Baltimore. So West Covington Park, I go to all the time. Middle Branch
Okay.
and Patterson Park. Now we just went because we're close by from here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
Madison is lit.
it's just a good time. Just go to the park, find a spot, pop a squat, and just
Chill.
like chill.
Yeah.
Patterson be a little too lit for me.
It is very big.
It's a sensory experience for
Yes,
me
yes.
because it's like a lot of noise.
Mhm.
People be having their dogs.
The dogs.
Then they have like the little kickball, tennis court, like the pool. It swings, like it's Patterson Park
lot.
be a lot for me.
It's a lot.
So I be going to Druid Hill a lot too, just where it's like you can pick your pot like spot where you're kind of like tucked off.
Mhm.
And if it's like real crazy, I'll go down on the hill that like overlooks 83.
Yeah.
And it's like not be in the park, but be on the hill.
Yeah.
So yeah, Patterson is cute. It just get a little live.
It just get a little live.
Get a little live.
Every once in a while, also the waterfronts have
It
nice
can.
little. not necessarily Canton. You like Canton?
Well, I like drive. I hate driving over there because it's like
Yeah,
hard to get out of there. But
it
that
does.
waterfront is so pretty when it's sun is setting.
Being by the water on a bad day, oh Lord, it
Yeah.
does something to you.
Yes,
Truthfully.
I agree.
Truthfully.
I agree.
All right, let's get into some music talk. You ready?
Yes.
Hey, okay. So let's talk about some rap inspirations. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? What was your first introduction to the club scene? You the queen of the underground. So I want to know, where did it first hit you, hit your earballs, and you were like, this is it. This is where I feel free.
We're gonna take it all the way back.
Okay.
Mark Clark in the Big Fat Morning Show
Wow.
and DJ K Swift.
Oh,
R.I.P.
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I always had friends growing up, but my family isn't like a hosty or like hang out family.
Okay.
So we just spent like a lot of times in the house, like with the family.
Mm-hmm.
So I would spend weekends in the house, but I always had like a radio or a CD player or something. So I would just turn on 92Q.
Yeah.
So I just remember as a kid, like on the weekends, hearing Pork Chop and K Swift and like
Mhm.
Clinton Sparks and all these people just like mix for hours.
Yeah.
And to me, Baltimore to me was New York. I was like,
Mhm.
I just want to move to Baltimore and do music.
Yeah.
So really, it was like hearing Swift on the radio, and the thing I used to love was hearing them broadcast live from the clubs.
Me
We're coming
too.
at you live from Silver Shadow. Like, I can't wait to go to the club. But yeah, that's really it was club music that
Mhm.
really like started me on music, and then I just fell in love with hip hop and kept going.
Was there any underground scene at all on the Eastern Shore at all? Like, because
Um,
I go to the Eastern Shore occasionally, for fishing and crabbing.
see.
But other than that, I don't really know the music scene, but I know UMES in Salisbury is lit.
They are so I'm from like 2 hours away from Salisbury. Like I'm like in the country.
Okay.
So we didn't have. It's funny because I'm working on an album right now,
Mhm.
and I redid one of my old songs, and I added like a verse at the end, and I sent it to the producer who I grew up with who made it,
Okay.
and because like one of the lines was talking about like being in mosh pits, because I'm like everybody loves talking about being in mosh pits, but I was telling him like, yo, I really came up in a punk scene. Like there
Mm.
was no hip hop scene really.
Okay.
There were people who rapped, but we didn't have any venues. There was
Mhm.
no hip hop scene. So when I started working with the producer that I worked with, he was friends with everybody in bands, and there was a
Mhm.
really big band where I grew up. There were a punk band called The Converted.
Mhm.
And when I started to like do music, I would hop on shows with The Converted. So I started like doing punk bands, and then randomly, a under 21 club opened in a strip mall, like where the grocery store was, because that's how small of a town I grew up. And for
Yeah.
whatever reason, at 14 years old, they decided to hire me as a DJ.
Wow.
So like then I started DJing there and just like throwing parties. It didn't last long, but like a couple years, like a year or two before it got shut down. But yeah, so
That is so fun.
That's
it's
really
hot.
cool.
Great
Was
job.
that your
Little
first
gems.
job?
No, I used to work at a convenience store when I was like 12. My family had a store.
Okay.
I come from the struggle. So anything I wanted I had to like
Work.
pay for myself
Yeah.
really, unless it was like Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I as long as I was allowed to work, I've always worked because
Beautiful.
I've always just wanted shit.
So you've had that work ethic in you since a little jit, is what our Florida listeners would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it's ingrained in you, especially like it's not like I grew up on a farm, but like where you grow up when people are like you're out cutting your grass or you're like chopping wood because you have a fireplace. Like I just grew up in like a labor intensive family where everybody worked.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you just fall into it. Like
Yeah.
you just see everybody working. It's like, okay, I'm gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I started working, I was like, I don't want to do the
Do
stuff that
forever.
like they're doing, and I don't want to do it forever. So I was like, let me get the hell on. Yeah, I've always been a worker.
I feel that daily. I'm just like,
She stayed wanting to retire.
Yeah.
son is gonna pay for my lifestyle because I'm tired.
See, and it's not, I don't even trust other people like
Mhm.
having control over my money. So I'm just like, when is the madness going to stop?
Yeah.
Like, it really just be the people. I don't mind working. It just be the madness that come with the work
Mhm.
Yeah.
sometimes and what people be asking for.
Too
Yeah.
much.
I'm
Too
looking at my cat like, you are living the peak life right now.
No, for
like
real.
you ain't gotta do nothing.
He
Nothing.
can make some money though. He's cute.
Yeah, he is
See,
pretty cute.
but cats be having attitudes too. So they can't never act right. Like, You get them an acting job, they start fighting. Like,
The most attitude he has is when
He's
he
having
want to
an
sleep
asthma
on
attack. Oh yeah.
you and you get up. He's like, "Excuse me, bed. Where are you going?"
first of all, I don't know what schedule you were on, but I have a couple more hours.
He'll put his whole paw out and be like,
Stop moving.
See?
Yeah.
I'm math ain't my strong point, but it's something about monkeys having thumbs, but cats being so human-like that just don't sit right
Yeah.
with me. I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all really the second people.
yeah,
Like,
they mimic us, like for real, for real. They do weird Jedi mind trick stuff. I don't trust them either, but when they're cute, they can get away with so much.
okay, so I read this thing and it's disturbed me ever since
Okay.
Here we
because
go.
Share it. I
because
love disturbing
I
things.
feel like it's so true. Because I have 2 young nieces and my brother has 2 cats.
Mhm.
Well, one has passed away now, but they had 2 cats.
Yeah.
And I read this thing and it was like when there are kids around, cats' meows mimic
The baby.
children's cries.
Yeah, so you give them
So-
attention. That's true.
Yep.
That is a car fact.
Mhm. That's the actual fact.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I also have a theory that cats were peeping toms, like peeping toms and like stalkers, and
Mhm.
like they die and get reincarnated as cats.
As cats.
That's my other theory because
Yeah.
cats are weird.
They're weird. They're too curious.
I really don't like, and I should have thought about this before I got a cat. I didn't. I don't like being stared at.
And they just be on
He
you.
be just looking, and
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm eating right now.
Yeah.
I push him off the couch regularly. I was like, stop looking at me.
Yeah,
It
into your
doesn't-
soul.
It doesn't bother me. It's crazy because I have staring contacts with him. Like I'll just stare back, and at certain points, his eyes will start dilating, and he'll get freaked out by me. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So I can play this game and win, but you're not about that life. So
Mhm.
don't take the stares that
But
serious.
he's also very gentle. Like he's like having a 2-year-old in the house.
I don't believe that because when 2-year-olds get upset, they don't have recliner claws. Like
That's true.
cats it'd be like watching a movie because it just be like, kids can't do that. So I don't,
There's a level of danger with a cat.
yeah, I
He
don't
really
have
doesn't
that.
scratches though. Like I haven't had the last time
Like
he,
disgusted.
the last time he scratched me was like the first year that I had him, and I was giving him a bath. But since then, he's never scratched me. He still get baths. He get his little pedicures and all that. He's a good little boy.
Are you a dog person?
I do like dogs, but I don't dislike cats. I
You're
wouldn't have a
suspicious of
cat.
them.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a cat.
Yeah.
I feel like I would wake up and the cat would be like swole over top of me, just like watching.
That is the possibility. They do that.
No,
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
let him in my room. My door stays closed when I go to sleep.
See,
so
and the
he
fact
be
that
in
you
there with her.
can't even
though.
have that trust. No,
It's
get
just
out the
'cause
house.
He wants to be on top of you while you sleep, and I'm just like, you're hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need him to.
That is valid. I'm also allergic to cats, so that's where like a lot of my disdain came from. Because like you're not finna be irky weird and make me sneeze. Like
Exactly.
it's too much
Valid.
going on.
Exactly.
That's valid.
Exactly.
much.
That's very valid. All right. So late to the party was your pandemic baby, yeah?
Yes.
So where were you drawing inspiration from when you were creating the album? Which was
Ooh,
iconic, by the way.
It was really good.
It was a
Thank
good
you.
ass album.
Yeah.
that's funny because I don't hate that album, but I think I hate everything that was going on in my life around the time of the album release,
Mm,
which makes me have like certain types of feelings towards the album.
mhm.
But like making the album, I was just in my bag, to be honest. Like when the pandemic hit, I was hitting up producers and stuff that I really liked. And I was like, hey, like I'm working on an album. And like in retrospect, everybody was in the pandemic. Everybody was working on music, but nobody like hit me back. Nobody was like, yeah, we're not gonna hit you. We're not gonna do nothing. So I was like, okay.
Mm,
And I was talking to TT the artist about it. And I was like, yeah, I guess I just need to like learn how to produce. She was like, yeah, so do it. Like now is the perfect time.
mhm,
Where do you have to be?
mm,
And I said, you know what, sis? You're
Facts.
right. I'm gonna talk to you later.
mhm.
And then I just sat down with Ableton for like 8 hours.
Hey, Ableton.
Yeah, shout out to Ableton.
Ableton is a learning curve.
Eh.
But once you get it,
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
Mhm.
I sat down at Ableton for like 8 hours. I made a club track.
Hell.
Then the next day I made another one.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, let me see if I can like make other shit.
Mm.
And then Pink Durag was the first thing that I like really made.
Yeah.
And then the day after I made Pink Durag, I made Libations,
Mhm.
and I saved that for the album. But then I was like, wait, I can kind of do this. So Late to the Party really kind of came out of me just discovering how to produce,
Mm.
because now it was like, wait, I have these ideas for these songs. I can control the tempo and the vibe that I like want to create,
Mhm.
and then I can just go do it. So again, like that work of me just being a nerd, like it was fun to just figure out and make the songs. And I'm like, all right, I have an album now.
I mean, you were in your artistry bag. Like you really were being self-sufficient in that moment. Like,
I'll be trying to figure it out. Look, if nothing else, I'm gonna have me.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing I've learned. If nothing else, I'm gonna have me.
And you're gonna be all right
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm gonna figure it out. It might not be top tier quality, but it's gonna be refined enough to get me there.
Mm. Do you want to get into like some of the things that was going on during that album release session?
It was just, it was a wild time, in Baltimore
Okay.
and just in life in general. But I think the biggest thing for me was like working on the project. Like I started working on it right after my dad had passed away. So I
Mhm.
was like, I feel like I have so much to say, but
Mhm.
like I can't.
Yeah.
Um, and then I finished the album. If it came out in 22, I finished the album in October of 21.
Mm.
And then to turn it into the label, they wanted like a certain amount of month runtime. And then so the album didn't come out until June of 22. So I got really antsy because I was so excited about the album.
Mm-hmm.
From like October to like February, I listened to it at least like once a week.
Mm.
And then by the time like February came, I was like, nobody's like, I was over it, I guess,
Mm.
overhearing it. So I was like, nobody is gonna like this.
Mhm.
Like nobody is gonna like the content, because I was like, I was kind of over it. And
Mm.
then shooting videos and things, nothing came out. Like we did the video for Makings,
Mm-hmm.
and everything kind of fell through. So Antonio, Electric Llama, who I love, that is like my brother.
Mhm.
We made it work, but like that whole video, we couldn't find anybody to do lights. So I was like, I'm gonna just go buy lighting on Amazon.
Mhm.
Oh,
I rented
wow.
like a location. We shot that whole video in one spot. So shout out to Corinne from Natural Velvet for looking out for the location. I had ordered like blow up like metallic balloons that look like squares and
Mhm.
taped them to a wall with just to try to
Like
make
I
it look
would
like
have
a
never
set.
noticed though, because it looked
Thank
fantastic.
Yeah.
you. So again, working with Antonio was just, I was able to tell him like, all right, this is what I have. How can we make this look like something? Like, can we do this?
Mm.
And he was very receptive of my ideas. And the biggest thing was like the talking mannequin head,
Mm-hmm.
which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just felt like in that time I was making really good music, and I kind of got down on myself because I felt like people weren't responding to it.
Mm.
So I was like, damn, I just got really in my head about
Mm.
the project. So it's funny now listening to people, or even when I looked at the streaming numbers for the first time last week, and I was like, okay.
For the first time?
Like for the first time in a long
Oh,
time.
okay.
I think
Okay.
I looked at the streams like once a week for the
Mhm.
first couple months that it came out. And then after that I was just like, okay, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, I just got really bogged down about it. And then I got really in my head because Undercover was supposed to just be an interlude on the album. And
I love
it ended up
Undercover.
being the highest
Oh
streamed
my
song.
god.
So then we made an extended version
Yep.
that was supposed to come out in November. And then just some things got like wonky with the label, so it didn't even come out until like this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of missed the mark. Like it was too long before like the extent. So I was just like really in my bag about the album.
I still saved it.
Um,
I was just like Undercover extended save.
so yeah, but I'm like, I love what Late to the Party was,
Uh-huh.
but also I'm a perfectionist,
Yeah.
and realizing everything isn't going to be perfect is like a thing.
Yeah.
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 It's a thing.
So I mean, hey, we're just gonna
Keep rocking.
kill it, keep rocking. Like
Okay.
the next one is just gonna be even better. You just gonna outdo yourself, right?
The next one is 90% done. I need to record 4 songs. 2 of them are completely written. They just need to be recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I just scaled it down yesterday, so it's 10 tracks.
Okay.
5 were done by me, 5 by other people,
Love
all
it.
Baltimore.
Love it.
Yes.
It's all club. There's no downs.
Yes.
It's rapping. So I think this is one of those ones where I'm kind of like scared in the sense
Okay.
of like, in a way where it's like, there's no way this can't do good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like crazy because I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
feel like this might be
This might be
the
it.
one.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
About to take the clubs
I
over.
mean, is there a date?
Um, there's a date in my head,
Okay.
but
This year, next year?
this year definitely.
Okay.
I'm going back and forth. The last two releases I've done have been with Babe City, which is a label out of DC.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like contemplating going back. It's one of those things where I'm like, do I want to self-release it? But I don't want to do myself a disservice with the
Right.
product that I have by self-releasing.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a date in mind. I have a label that I want to shop it to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not tied to anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that it will come out this year because if
Yeah.
the date is too long, I will risk it and I will release it myself. But it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely like one of those ones where I'm like, it's coming out this year.
I'm excited. We're excited. It's gonna be a bop. I mean,
I'm-
long drives, that's what I'm blasting.
Yeah, I think people will like this one. It's definitely for the clubs. It's definitely a pregame album. Like you play this while you're getting ready to go out.
Yes, that's what the kids need.
I agree. The kids need the real club.
Yes, the real club. Oop. Okay. But you mentioned Pink Durag, so this is my kind of last like fangirl moment. Pink Durag is perfect.
Thank
Like
you.
it is a Negro spiritual in every sense of the word. That poem at the end of it, like a notable bar that I just had to type up: "White tears hitting the floor," the new ASMR. That made me clutch my chest in a way that I've never really experienced from somebody rapping.
Mm.
Like I usually clutch my chest with singers, you know what I'm saying?
I get that.
But when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, oh my goodness, the new ASMR." So I just want to know, where was your headspace during the creation of that song?
I didn't make or write that song. That was spiritual. Like
Okay.
I did no work with
Okay.
that. And it was really one of those spiritual alignments where it was like, even when I thought it was done,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't.
Mm.
I had written so Pink Durag wasn't even supposed to be a thing. It
Oh,
was
wow.
supposed to be a Bandcamp Friday release. Like I was just gonna release it on Bandcamp Friday.
Okay.
So I had wrote the song and I had recorded it with Bot Choi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, this isn't complete. So then I asked Elon to hop on it and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah. So they laid down the hook.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when they laid down the hook, I was like, something is missing.
Mm.
And I was actually at Patterson Park and I was just sitting in my car and I just opened my notes app and the poem at the end wrote itself. Like I literally, that happened in like 5 minutes.
Mm.
And then when that happened, I was like, now the song is done.
Mm-hmm.
So Pink, thank you for saying that because Pink Durag to me is my proudest moment. It's my technically like second highest streaming song, but it is to me my highest streaming song because it's not that wasn't streams from a playlist.
Mm-hmm.
That was like all organic streams.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very proud moment because people told me I couldn't make that kind of music. That people don't want to hear like self-actualizing music or people don't want to hear shit that's really going on and
Mm-hmm.
like so I don't know, it was a really really proud moment for me.
And the
So
video, was
thank you.
that shot at the Botanical Garden?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Antonio again,
Yeah.
I don't even know I was why was I at Joy Hill? Because I wasn't even smoking at the time. I really think I just had missed the turn on Falls Road, and you know you
Mm-hmm.
can come up the backside by like Fox 45.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been through Joy Hill in a long time. So it had brought me through that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I rode past it and I was like,
It's the video spot.
I need to do something in front of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I made the video, I was like, I want this to feel like an art piece.
Yeah.
So I just instantly went to Antonio. I was like, I want to do this shot. I want to do this shot. I want to do this shot. I want to do this here. He was like, let's do it. So we went and stole the shots. You know, Baltimore, we stole the shots. We ain't paying for no permits. We
Yeah.
gonna pull up. We gonna get this done, and we gonna go.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, so that was a hectic day.
Mhm.
My car actually got totaled on the way to the video shoot. I was going to Druid Hill, and I was down. You know that hill right by Burger King?
Yeah.
A car ran right into the back of me. Like he
course.
ain't had no brakes. Like his brakes
Mhm.
didn't work. He was like driving his car. He wasn't supposed to be driving. He ran into the back of me, and then we pull over to the side, and then he tries to like drive away. So I'm like following him, and then I like park, and he opens his door. He's trying to act like he's getting his information, and he starts backing up and like takes the front of my car out with his door, and I'm just like, sir, I have a video to shoot, literally like an hour ago. I was like doing this whole ordeal for like an hour, and then we literally went and it pushed the video back, and then I was like, fuck it. And then we went and shot the video. Like I literally just pulled up. I was like, I'm gonna change right here, and we just started shooting the video. So it was like everything surrounding that was chaos.
There was definitely, so you said that was a spiritual, like everything that came out of that project, just it flowed through you. So
Yes.
it wasn't even like, not to say it wasn't intentional, but it just, everything aligned perfectly
Yes,
in
it
that
was
moment.
intentional, but it wasn't work.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's
I love that.
a great product came out of it.
Thank you.
I really, really enjoyed it. All right. Those are my fangirl moments.
I would say listening to Late to the Party, I was just like, hey, yo, either these songs make me feel real good, like, hey, like, yes, or I'm like, I want to cry.
Because you be sneaking in some real shit.
I like that duality because I think with me, one of the things I've loved about my career is, and it's challenged me, is I never fit in just one spot.
Yeah.
Like I can be in a club and then turn around and be at the Kennedy Center and then turn around and be on a festival and then turn around and be talking at a high school.
Yeah.
So it's like it challenges me because in one project I get to make multiple songs that are gonna like go across multiple genres. And Late to the Party again didn't even turn out how it was supposed to. The whole front half of the album, and this is no shade, I'm not being funny. It was supposed to be like Kalela Renaissance type vibe. The beginning was supposed to be all club that like had seamlessly flowed like into each other.
Transition.
And then Changes was supposed to be the change of the project. But just getting the production, and I wasn't as advanced in production at the time. So trying to get that to like really smoothly flow, it didn't work. So I was like, okay, we just gonna switch it up. And then when I heard like Renaissance and I heard like Kalela's project, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I had a good idea. So I felt good because I was like, I just wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
But I still thank you. I still love like what Late to the Party is because I feel like that. Like sometimes I want to cry, but sometimes I want to go to the club, and sometimes I want to talk my shit. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I was vibing, and then like Shadows hit, and I was like,
Shadows is the one. If you want to cry, Shadows is the one.
got me. And I'm a Pisces. I cry for less.
She
So.
cries for far less.
And you know, Aries, we emotional thugs, so like we like to act like we tough, and then as soon as we slam the door, we start bawling.
Yeah.
Y'all my neighbors.
Yeah.
No.
I'm an emotional thug.
So the last portion of the interview, if we have like a little bit of time, we can speed it up really quick. But we just like to ask people like, you know, what are your dream collabs? I coined it manifestation station. You know what I'm saying? So let's manifest like who is an artist that you want to work with, like your top 3. They could be local, Baltimore. They could be like DC, Virginia, whatever.
If we're talking currently,
Yeah.
mainstream, Missy Elliott. It would have to be a co-production and feature collab. Like we would have to be in the studio.
Let's go. Criteria.
Have to work this, or at least let me do some of it. Send it to you.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott. I feel like locally, I don't know. I have so many local faves. Like, I've worked with Cam. I've worked with Three Side Goof. I really like Nay. Nay is like a really dope rapper. I would love to like. I would love to. There's so many. I'm not going to start naming names because I'm going to start forgetting people. So let me say locally. I'm gonna do it like this, and I'm gonna say locally producers. I would love to work with like Rodley
Mhm.
or like someone of the prime
Mhm.
Baltimore club era.
There we go.
I'll keep that to be fair.
Hey, I mean, I know Mr. Rodley.
I just think like that, like a club that would like complete my biggest, like I came up in the paradox. So like
Mhm.
one of the biggest things for me is like I'll never get to go back to the docks
Yeah.
like fully fulfilled.
Mhm.
And you know, like Swift passed away. So it's like I'll never get to like play with Swift. Or so I feel
Mhm.
like just being within like the club legends. I mean, I kind of run around with after being in Dark City and like the club legends really starting to like big me up and know who I was, that was like an out of body experience because that's like Beyonce to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, to work with some of the club legends, I would love. I've done it, but I would love. There's a couple more I would love to work with.
All right, beautiful. All right, so I know we at 6:30, but I do want to know, what would you like to tell your 13-year-old self?
Ooh, I'm a
You can shed a tear if you want to as
damn.
well.
My 13-year-old self, I would just say, do it.
Mm,
Don't question it, and everything is gonna be bigger than what you ever imagined.
I would have.
Don't,
That's what I would
Oh
tell my
man,
13-year-old self.
don't.
I want to tell myself that too.
And the last two things, what do you want to communicate most through your music?
Ooh.
And then what's next for you this year?
um, because I think it'll be better to end out. What's next for me this year?
Mhm.
I'm around. I'm DJing a lot. I have the album coming out.
Yeah.
Some things I can't say yet, but
Mhm.
the year is
Gonna be exciting.
blessed. I'm
Mhm.
blessed, very blessed. And then what was the other question?
What do you want to communicate most through your music? What do you want people to take away from your music?
I want my music to be the most positive fuck you that it can be.
I love that.
I want
That's
people
beautiful.
to look at me and say like, damn, I remember when I told you that you couldn't.
Mm,
I remember telling people nobody would want to listen to this,
mhm,
telling people nobody is going to like anybody who like I want everybody who has ever like told anybody who went against the grain that they couldn't,
mhm.
like when they see me and hear me, I want them to feel that.
Yeah.
Like I literally physically want them to like tense up and be like, damn,
Mhm.
I told you you couldn't and you could.
And you did that
And you
shit.
did it.
You
And
did it excellently too.
so I think I want to like inspire the people who need the inspiration and the people who try to dim people's light. I want them to feel me at my highest watts.
Mm.
I love that. I'm gonna just take this like little snippet and just play it when I go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
That's
I want
fine.
you to feel.
Literally. I keep saying I'm gonna
Feel
play
my
it.
shine.
Yeah,
Like the
feel it.
little bit of like
Burn, bitch.
revenge that I want in my heart. It's like, you told me I couldn't do this
Because it's not even like spiteful
shit. Yeah.
revenge, but it's like you told me I couldn't do that shit, and in turn I internalized that. But then I stepped away from it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I want you to know that it don't matter whatever sauce you thought you had,
Mm.
it ain't work.
Mm.
I love it.
And then
It's my favorite.
shit. I mean,
I love
that's
hearing that.
that sums up the episode, I
I feel like
think.
we need to change our tagline now. Shit.
Don't
Whatever
please.
sauce you thought you had,
It wasn't it.
it ain't work.
It ain't work.
Some diet sauce.
No, for real.
Low
Jenny
calorie
Craig
ass.
sauce.
Very much so. South Beach, okay.
Nutrient
Chaotic.
system.
Slim fast ass sauce. I couldn't think of nothing else.
Atkins.
No, for real.
Yes.
Flat tummy tea.
Jenny Craig ass sauce. Get the fuck get out of here.
Jenny Craig.
All right. Chaotic, you have been a delight.
Yes.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. We usually like to end the show with some instructions to our listeners, all 12 of them, but we usually tell people
Might be 14 with you here.
it might be, listen, it might be 20.
And it will be 2100
Let's
eventually.
go. Let's go. We usually tell people to be kind to themselves
Be kind to others.
and continue to be that beautiful little galaxy you're meant to be. And you, Madame, are a bright galaxy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on this show. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for just being a supporter. Like that was just so random when she told me. She was like, "Guess who's in our inbox?"
I think it's so funny because I don't think I've quite grasped the effect that I have on other people. So like, sorry. So sometimes I'll just like reach out and people will be like,
Yes.
and then when I get there, they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, this isn't right." I'm like, "Yo, I promise,
Yeah.
I'm normal, I swear." But yeah, I just shout out to Miss Cam because I see Miss
Yeah.
Cam and I was like, and I already had like known seeing you around, so I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, this just makes sense.
I booked it upstairs. I was like,
I love that.
No, we talked about music therapy, mentioned Miss Cam. Since then, she was like, "Oh, don't let me come on the show now."
I love
And then
Cam.
she came up, and we were like, "Well, shit." So doing these interviews really is like the highlight of our podcasting
Yes.
career. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and you are an incredible force in the music industry and so necessary. I'm very excited for your next project.
oh, real quick, how can people find you?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Tap in.
everywhere.
Plug yourself.
Everywhere at Kotic Couture. No, it's not spelled right. Kotic Couture. I said on stage one time like couture, like the fashion, and there was a kid was like, I don't know how to spell that.
Couture be fucking me up.
Yeah, so yeah, I get it. It be fucking a lot of people up because I be getting stuff and they be like COTOUR, and I'd be like, oh, we on the road. So yeah, Kotic Couture, KOTICCOUTURE, and you'll get an album from me this year. You know, maybe some visuals.
Let's go.
And, you'll be hearing some music sooner than later.
DJ Chaotic Couture as well
Yes,
too.
everywhere. I'll be
Everywhere.
outside. Look, just don't give me no reason to be somewhere where music is involved because I will find a way to be there.
Hey, let's go. Let's get it. It's gonna be an exciting year. All right.
All
I
right.
received that.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much.